Bienvenidos todos al podcast Enojado número 83. Esta vez tenemos a un invitado muy especial. I'm sorry, how do I call you? What's your name?
Tanner. Yeah.
Tanner, que vino desde Estados Unidos a vivir a Argentina porque, bueno, eso es lo que vamos a averiguar en este podcast. Juan Pablo y él van a estar hablando en inglés. Yo voy a estar hablando en narco, que es como el inglés, suena como el inglés, parece inglés, pero básicamente es un español intentando no ser deportado. So, when did you move to Argentina?
Yeah, so I got here on June 5th, 2024. So just a little bit over a month and a half.
Okay.
So June, beginning of June?
Yeah, beginning of June.
And how long do you plan to stay here?
Yeah, I at this point I want to stay forever.
All right.
This is where we would want to live and raise our family.
So my question would be like, are you coming here? So this is the trip in which you are staying. You don't have to go back to fetch things and come back.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and some people know this. A lot of people probably don't. Our plan is to have give our birth to our third child here, and that would lead to a very quick process for citizenship. We could do this a different way. It would take 2 years, but I'm choosing a route that would take 1 year.
Nice.
Where did you get information from Argentina? YouTube, Instagram? Because you choose this place. Why?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a deep question for me because this is obviously I changed my entire life to come here. Quit a professional job to be here. Argentina, I have always thought in terms of survivability and trying to find the best place in the world to live, both culturally, geographically. And recently, since 2020, we've had some serious, a pandemic or whatever you want to call it. You have, global war on the horizon with Ukraine and Russia and Israel and Gaza. So there's a lot of things going on. And so when you start adding all these things up, and then for me specifically, I have a libertarian point of view. I am more conservative in the sense of, religion, family, and just preserving what I value. And in the USA, that is just going out the window. And I know that a lot of Argentines might not understand my experiences there, but everything is just going out the window when it comes to that quality of life that I want to preserve.
Okay, but let's take it step by step.
Sure.
What did you learn about Argentina? YouTube videos, Instagram videos?
Yeah, so Doug Casey was a big influence to me. Doug Casey is an American who is promoted basically moving around the world where you're treated best, kind of like the Nomad Capitalist channel on YouTube. Yep. So he's very similar, but he was doing this before that YouTube channel was doing that. And so he has a small group of hardcore, libertarians that follow him.
Would it be the case that you mentioned him in that video that you sent me about the hospital? You say that you got in contact with someone from his community?
Correct. Yeah. So like I said, this is a small little community. He has quite a few followers and a lot of people know him in the US, but it's a very family-oriented community. So the people that do follow him come together in a chat group and chat room, and we answer each other's questions and about economics and where to live and how to do it. And so that was a big influence.
Sorry, Tanner. Around what time did you start thinking that maybe the US wasn't the place that you would like to raise your third children?
Yeah. So I lived in North Idaho, which is a very conservative.
My question was more like, around what time did you start thinking, maybe this is not the place?
I have to get out of here.
Great question. 2020 during the pandemic.
All right.
Oh, okay. But
what was the trigger?
When did you choose? Because Argentina wasn't the same all the time. If you, saw Argentina 2 years ago, Milei wasn't here. But, like a president wasn't here. So when did you choose Argentina?
Yeah, I would say that I specifically decided to make this move to Argentina in probably 2022, and then we started planning it out, saving, and basically lining up all all our ducks in a row to make this happen.
What made you choose Argentina? Because, like, I mean, I would understand now being yourself a libertarian, but in 2022, as far as I can remember, there was Alberto here, and the situation was like closer to Venezuela than it is to what it is now, actually.
Yeah. So when I decided on Argentina in 2022, it was to do with global events and the we were getting towards that end of the year in the pandemic where you started seeing how the whole world was acting and treating their citizens, and so Argentina was like survivability position on the globe. It was food security, water security. It was lots of land, low population for how much land there is. You got the mountains, so it's survival. Just think of survival. It was a great place to be, aside from political cycles. So yeah, I wouldn't say thinking about what you're saying here, was 2022 when I absolutely full on went all in. Maybe it was a little bit after that. When I saw Milei get elected, that's really when I was just like, holy cow, like this is really, really going to happen now. But I did want to come to Argentina before he was elected.
That was another question. When did you first heard about Milei? Not Milei being president, just the concept of Milei.
The dude, man, he reminded me of like a Trump character where the media is just all over this guy. And I saw him with the chainsaw and his crazy speech of just destroy the socialists, and that resonated with me. I mean, that's the way I felt inside. I wanted the world to change in that direction. And then the first libertarian president in the world got elected, and that was incredible. But yeah, it was seeing the crazy man on the TV.
Wow. Did that? I mean, was that aired in the States as well? I mean, was that the news or something?
Yeah. So Milei everyone was talking about Milei, in the United States as far as maybe my circle that maybe pays attention to that, but yeah, it was on the news. He was, he did his speech at the World Economic Forum and destroyed the globalist elites, which was beautiful. But all this was all over the media and social media in the U.S.
Do you believe you are the first of many?
Am I going to be the first of many? Is that what you're saying?
Do you believe that? Yes.
Oh, I believe that. Absolutely. 100%. For many, many reasons. I've had multiple people tell me before I was leaving that they were jealous at what I was doing, and they just felt like they can't do it because they're in this rat race with debt up to their eyeballs. So there's a lot of people that want to come and want to do this when I talk to them. And then, I'm connected to a lot of people across the United States as well online, and many, many people are now that they see what's happening down here, they want to come down here as well. So I just, it's a special place in the world right now. And this goes beyond political cycles. This is a generational movement, and that's what's so powerful about it. So I have no doubt in my mind that Argentina is going to succeed because it's the generation that wants it. And the Argentines have nothing to lose, and you cannot beat people that have nothing to lose.
I saw one. I'm sorry, Juan Pablo.
No, please go on.
Okay, I saw one of your videos, and you say something like, "We have family values." I was surprised about it because here the left, until Milei was winning a lot of ground. What do you saw? ¿Cómo decirlo? Bueno, ¿qué fue lo que hizo que vos creas que tenemos valores familiares?
So the question is that, I mean, until like, let's say recently, the left was gaining a lot of ground here, and feminist movements are like really big here in Argentina. What did you tell you? I mean, what was the sign? Where were the signs that you saw here in Argentina that made you say, yes, this country has family values, let's say?
Yeah, so it would come back to religion for me. It was pretty simply that. I think that in the USA and Europe and Canada, the church is, I don't want to offend a lot of people that live there, but it's just not what it used to be, obviously. And it's getting worse as time goes on. And you can see it in the people. I can't describe to you guys, living in a remote area in North Idaho, smaller towns, conservative people, you still see freaks walking around the streets. It's totally different. It's invading every little community in the U.S.
Can you describe me one of those freaks?
Purple hair.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Whereabouts are you living right now in Argentina?
Where am I living?
Yeah.
Yeah, Palermo neighborhood in Buenos Aires.
You're in Palermo. You're in Palermo, and you're calling people with purple hair freaks. What the? Palermo is
You're in the factory of purple hair freaks.
I've which is funny because I know that you guys have that perspective of this place coming from Argentina.
No, we actually do. Yes.
No, I know, but it's much worse in the U.S. Much worse.
It's Palermo is like the mecca of veganism and things that are weird in Argentina. Do you like empanadas?
I do, yeah.
Do you know that they eat them in a bottle there, in a flask, in a jar? They eat empanadas in a jar in Palermo for some reason. By the way, just for a little of context, most people you have met so far have been from Buenos Aires, as far as I understand. Both of us, we live in the countryside. We live in myself in Rosario, and he in a city a little above Rosario, more to the north. Rosario.
A little town called Galvez.
Yeah, we're not from Buenos Aires, so we're a bit like our views are a bit unpolluted from whatever happens in Buenos Aires.
Even more conservative, maybe.
Yeah.
No, and that's good. I mean, I can see it by how many viewers you guys get on your videos and stuff. People like hearing these values. I think that's the movement. People want to they want to have a good life, and they want to have family and religion, and I think that's what.
Something that surprised me. I'm sorry. Something that surprised me that you saw Argentina for your. You say grandchildren. You didn't even say children. You say grandchildren. Like Argentina will be a great place in 50 years, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing that you said is that the United States is going down, slowly but down.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that? How do you see maybe the USA in 50 years?
Yeah, so I'm seeing everything become centralized. So we can have all these fancy words about socialism and whatever you want to call it. To me, it's centralization or decentralization. And in the US, you're having centralization of almost every single category of services that you can get. So whether it's healthcare, whether it's insurance companies, whether it's everything's so centralized. And the problem in the US is you have all this lobbying from these. It's not a free market. It's not capitalism. Okay, you have these lobbyists go in there and control these politicians, and they go in and pass these laws to help these corporations. Which that is not a free market. When you have government intervening to help corporations.
Basically, your government usually raises the barriers of entry of several markets so as to protect the ones that are already there, right?
Right.
That's usually what happens in the States. But on the other side, you have Milei here in Argentina, right? But everything is pointed at Trump winning in the elections in November. Shouldn't that be a positive change there?
No, so this is where I would like to make the division. So Trump will do great things in the 4 years, and I support Trump being elected. Do I think it's going to change the course of America? No, because you can look at 2016 to 2020, and he made a lot of progress in that time. And then when the Democrats got in, they wiped away everything that he progressed, and then made everything 2 times as worse. And you could look at the immigration at the border. You can look at all the policies. There's so many to even think about.
Would you say that, I don't know how familiar you are with Argentina's recent history, but would you say that there's some kind of parallelism between Trump and, let's say, Macri? Because Macri was elected here in 2015, more or less the same time as Trump. And after he finished, Alberto came and made everything worse, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. And I do see that. And that's why I don't believe in the political cycle being the whole motivation behind these things. And that's why I'm saying in Argentina right now I see a generational movement. When you talk to the people that are contacting me and that I've been reaching out, that's what I sense and that's what I see. And that's what I saw when Milei was elected. This is something very, very unique. And I don't think it's going to fail. And so that I'm betting on it. This is why I'm here. And what's my other option? Go back to the U.S. and know that I'm headed towards, collapse at some point.
I mean, you're speaking about a generational change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still, you're speaking about Argentina. Don't you think that if it was a real generational movement, that should be also reflected in the States? You don't see that movement in the States?
No. And the first thing that comes to my mind is demoralization. I don't know who is demoralizing the U.S. I don't know if it's China. I don't know if it's global elites. Somebody is demoralizing the U.S. Okay, and you have four things that happen: demoralization, destabilization, crisis, and normalization. And we're reaching the crisis stage. So that's what's happening in the U.S. We've been attacked. This is what people call fifth generation warfare. And that's not happening in Argentina. So I don't want to be in the targeted country, and I don't want to fight in a country where I'm going against the tide of history. It's going to happen. But on the other hand, Argentina's had their collapse. They've had their centralization. They've had their socialism, and the people are sick of it, and they're going to come out of it.
Let's hope so. I really hope you're right.
I mean, I have my chips in the same horse than you.
Yeah, Juan Pablo was in London until a few months ago, so he did the same thing that you did. But he is Argentinian, actually.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. You've seen what I've seen.
But to be honest, sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit drinking Milei's Kool-Aid. I'm not too sure about that, and that was my following question. Yeah. Do you actually see substance behind his words so far in his government?
Yeah. So, I don't agree on everything that Milei has done. But I'm very, very positive and motivated by, the actions he is taking within the government, within Argentina. So when I say I don't like everything Milei has done, I'm speaking globally. I don't necessarily like the NATO connection. I don't want Argentina to be involved in global war. I don't want Argentina to be involved in NATO. That's not what I want to see. I was getting away from that. So that's not what I want to see. But with his policies.
Sorry, are you aware that Argentina was like this close to getting the BRICS? You know what the BRICS, right?
Yes.
So doing some signs of let's say we're trying to get into NATO, it's more of a movement as far as I see it, right? It's more of a move to show that we are getting further away from BRICS rather than actually going to NATO.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think that is what he's doing. And again, I don't know all the details behind the scenes of these decisions. So I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying it doesn't sound good to me, and I don't like it. But I agree with you. It's making a strong statement that he's getting away from the BRICS. And yeah, I don't want to be involved with China. That's the last thing I want to be involved with.
Okay, you did your research about Argentina, and then you came here. When you came here, did you find something different according to the research that you did?
I would say that I didn't expect the amount of the culture. I didn't expect it. It's a feeling. I can't explain it. The way that people are so welcoming and what's happening down here, people wise. You don't have that in the U.S. I tried to describe it in some of my videos on YouTube. You have people in the U.S. that just walk by you. You have
we are warm.
Yeah. What's that? Yeah, very, very warm. And that's something you can't just Google and be like, hey, Argentina's warm. Like, what's that mean? Like, you have to be here. You have to feel it. And it is, I'm telling you guys, this is a special, special place in the world. I truly believe that.
I mean, I would tend to agree with you.
Yeah, I think that that is the Latin inheritance that we have, because Spanish people or Latin or Italian people are mostly the same.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're planning to stay here long term, right? Are you setting something up to, I don't know, making your way to I don't know, maybe learning the language or so? Because I think I'm not sure how easy it is to get around here in Argentina without speaking Spanish.
Well,
No,
in
you're-
Palermo, it's not very difficult.
No. Yeah. So in Palermo, it's very easy for me. There's about at least one employee in every single restaurant or coffee place that speaks English. Literally, I don't think I've been to one place that there's not an English speaker. But with that being said, I think it's incredibly important to learn the language. You want to be able to communicate with the people. And if anything did happen in the world where you need to have your community, you need to be able to communicate with them.
Right. And
Your wife is your partner on all of this. So she's a libertarian too.
Yeah, so her family had very libertarian point of views, more than I did when we got married, and so she has a lot of influence on me, and I couldn't have come here without her. I mean, how do you convince your wife to go to the end of the world with kids and just trust in her husband that I'm correct? So yeah, I would not be here without her.
Ok. Una cosita en español para la gente que está viendo. Cualquier pregunta que quieran hacer, la van dejando en Superchat o me etiquetan a mí, así me aparece, y yo después la voy a seguir haciendo. Esa es la única interrupción. Sorry, I was telling the people that if they want to ask some questions, they just can read it in the chat.
Cool.
Write it. I'm sorry. My English, as you might see,
No, it's good.
It is what it is. It's a Netflix English.
you get the point across. It's fine.
Yeah, I think.
That's going to be going viral now.
What other surprises did you saw when you came to Argentina?
Yeah.
Something that you didn't like too. So it's not all beautiful.
It doesn't have to be a positive surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, another thing that really stands out to me when you ask me that question is how similar it feels to the US. And what I mean by that is that this isn't a huge culture shock for me. So there's a lot of differences, but they've been positive differences. But I feel at home. I mean, Argentina feels like the US. But like almost back in time. You know, like maybe the 90s or
like
something.
100 years ago, right?
Yeah, well, like the 90s, because I mean, everyone's smoking cigarettes, and in the US, everyone's vaping. So things are. I mean, it's just different.
Okay.
I think that if it was like cheaper to import vape, they would be vaping as well, especially in Palermo.
Right.
Have you had the chance to go away from Buenos Aires for a bit, or did you visit any other places in Argentina?
Yeah, so this is what we want to do, and we will be doing that. We haven't done it yet. So my wife is about to have the baby, in a couple of weeks or within a week. And so I need to file all the paperwork and at least get the baby its U.S. citizenship at the embassy. And once I do that, I'm trying to figure out what province to start the court process for my residency. Buenos Aires sounds like it's probably too slow of a process, so I'm looking at other provinces.
Oh, I didn't know that you can have the visa faster in other provinces. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I get this information through the Russian groups. The Russians have been here having babies for a very long time, and so I read their chat groups, man,
wait a second. How that makes you feel that Russians are coming here a long time ago?
Yeah, to me it proved. Here's the thing: they're in a crisis, over with the war and stuff, and so they're coming here out of desperation.
Ironically, Russia is more Western than most of Europe right now, right?
Yeah, so that's another great thing. They have maintained a lot of these values that we're losing in the rest of the Western world. You're 100% correct. And maybe this is why some of them are picking Argentina, because they know it's very similar. But also, it's safe. I mean, Europeans have been coming to Argentina for generations to get away from global chaos. And
so Argentina is a place where Russian and American will become friends.
Absolutely, I've already
together.
Pieces of heaven.
I've already met up with some Russians, and yeah, they're good people, and yeah, there's no issues.
Usually the ones that are basically intrinsically evil are the governments, right? We can all be agreeing on that. What do you think?
No, absolutely. I think that we should not be judging other people around the world on what their governments are doing. The Russians are just as much a victim as any other group in the world when it comes to these wars happening. So to me, I don't pick sides between, the Ukrainians or Russians. They're all good people in my eyes.
Another thing is like you can see yourself maybe. I mean, you can tell me how true this is, what I'm going to say, but Argentina is full of people that wouldn't fight for their countries. What do you think of that?
Oh, did you say that they wouldn't fight for other countries? Is that
they wouldn't?
They wouldn't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, would you go to war in somewhere else for the United States right now?
No, 100% not. And I want to make this clear. It's not that I don't want to be patriotic. The U.S. has been so demoralized, and I can't control that demoralization. So I can't control how that makes me feel. And so it's not that I don't want to be patriotic.
It's a matter of not wanting to lose your life for someone that doesn't represent you, right?
Well, yeah, and I'm not defending my land. If I got attacked, if America got attacked and my family's at risk, I'm going to war, and I'll be happily going to war. But I'm not going to be going to the Middle East for oil or any of these other horrible things.
So do you think that right now, in America, well, in the United States, the immigration is a problem?
Racism, is that the word?
No, immigration. No, racism.
Just immigration. Yeah. So the U.S. It is an issue. Immigration is an issue. So it's kind of funny. Here I am being, an immigrant into Argentina. I want to make something very clear. When you have a socialist government and you offer free things, you're going to attract bad people. Okay, that's what's happening. That's what's happening in the United States. Now, are these people bad?
That's what's happening in Europe as well, right?
No, in Europe as well. And I kind of want to correct myself here. I'm not calling these people bad. But they're desperate humans, and any desperate human is going to want these things, and they're going to put a lot of pressure on these social systems. And then that's going to make the population of these countries very upset, and it's going to create a division. And this is exactly what the globalist elites want. They want us fighting each other. So the immigration happening in the Western world is to divide and conquer us. The Argentinians, we just have to make sure in Argentina that we don't offer free things, and you're not going to get bad immigration.
We are trying to not offer free things, but
I know.
We might be.
Well, but that's another thing, right? I mean, one guy that I know, Oscar, remember? He usually says that socialism is something that can't be prevented. I mean, it has to be felt firsthand. There's no basically vaccine for socialism. You have to have it, right? And we're bouncing back from that. And I think that if you ask now, there will be more people against giving free things than voting for, let's say. And you have seen this in the last election, right? And that's how it works. So in that way, I'm giving you, the reason that yes, we are bouncing back from this. So that's why I think this will have a better long-term expectation than in the US. US is still like on the side of no, but we have to give free things. But if we do it right, it will work well, right? And yes, it's absolutely right what you say. It's like if you give away free things, you're not going to pull in, let's say, bad people, but you're going to pull in people that's interested in those free things. And usually those are people that they don't have, let's say, a long-term plan for whatever the reason.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. And that's not how you build, let's say, a society. That's and that I agree with you.
No, and I want to go back to history a little bit here, which I think it's important for what we're talking about. When Argentina had its immigration from Italy and Spain and Switzerland, these are people that were in very difficult times, and they were feeling the exact same way I'm feeling. They want to have a family and they want to have prosperity.
Yeah, but they were promised a patch of land, and off you go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. But they were hardworking people that wanted to provide for the country. And look what happened to Argentina at that time. Look at these gorgeous buildings that they built. So it can happen again. And like you said, the people have to feel it. And that's why I think there's going to be in the future. I already think there's going to be a lot of immigration to Argentina from the US. But you just wait. There's going to be a wave of it when this stuff starts breaking out.
How did you see the? I mean, I'm going to take advantage of this of having an American here at these times, and how did you personally feel the time where Trump almost got? I mean, when he got shot.
Yeah. So when I it's one of those moments where you remember exactly where you're standing, just like 9/11. It is something that my gut just dropped straight down. I felt like I was going to puke when I read the news, just because it just emotionally hit me that way. And I wasn't even all pro Trump. I'm more libertarian. I'm right in the middle. But I just hearing that news is not what I want to see. It's not what I want my families to go through back in the U.S. And I appreciate Trump as a person. I don't want that to happen to me.
How about the aftermath? I mean, all those people saying that we were one ballot away of bringing back democracy.
No.
Yeah, no. Yeah, there was some really horrible responses. I think the important thing to conclude on this discussion here is that there is a huge cultural divide in the U.S. right now. And it is two absolute different cultures where these people hate each other. You have family members that don't speak, and I'm speaking from experience. You have family members that don't speak. You have horrible differences where people just don't even talk to each other. If they find out you're a conservative or somebody finds out you're a liberal, you're not friends. And if you're in the dating world and you find some hot chick and you're a conservative and she's a liberal, sorry, buddy, there's no chance.
Oh, the same is happening here.
Yeah, but you will be sorry. If she's liberal and you're a conservative, better than there's no chance. You would be dodging a bullet there.
No, absolutely. This cultural divide. It needs to stop because this is the divide and conquer. What they're doing to us, and again, I understand that socialists they think what they want is the best. It's not that they're malicious people. It's just that they're not educated.
I don't know if they are not malicious people, because their greatest thought is I'm going to, I don't know, steal from you because you have too much.
No, that's a great point.
If that's the greatest values, then they are bad people.
No, I agree. I agree with you. And as a libertarian, that's what makes me, I can get along with conservatives really well. I'll talk to liberals, but the problem with the socialists is that they want to steal from me. And I don't want people stealing from me.
So you're going to buy a house here. You are renting. What are your plans? I think that you are living from your you don't work, of course. So your savings. You are living from your savings. So what you're going to do? What are your plans?
Yeah. So right now we're renting, and I want to rent until I can kind of travel around the country and see where we want to settle down. The city's not for me. It's a beautiful city, but I'm a country boy.
I recommend you Mendoza. Mendoza is a beautiful place, beautiful. If you like cold, of course, because it's not the warmest place in Argentina, but Mendoza is a beautiful place to live.
If I may.
Okay. Juan Pablo might think different.
I'm going to say something that will be a bit maybe controversial. No, I mean, yeah, I would stick to, if I were you, just do your own research, of course. If I were you, I would stick to Buenos Aires, Rosario, or Mendoza or Córdoba, just because of the language barrier. I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, what you said about Palermo, that may be true about all these places, but if you go, the further you go from, let's say, capital cities, the harder it gets to, I don't know,
community. You community with. I know English might be something that you can access in Buenos Aires, but in another provinces that's not true. That is Juan Pablo has a point, but Mendoza is beautiful. And you will learn Spanish. One of your children will learn Spanish. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, and one thing I want to make clear: I'm very, very motivated to learn Spanish. I've been, a lot has happened over the past couple of weeks with how my Twitter's been blowing up, and my audience is Argentine right now, and I want to be able to communicate with them.
So you're planning to work on YouTube, right?
Yeah, so I'm doing it to see where it goes. To me, that's why I started it. Is maybe people will enjoy it.
So maybe let's do a shout out to your channel.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So could you tell me the name?
Yeah, so it's the Economic Front on YouTube, and same for X and Twitter.
Ok, si lo quieren seguir en YouTube es The Economic Front. I have a...
We're going to put Tipito, we're going to put both
links
channels
on the description.
in the description. Please make sure to follow and to give support, because this is the kind of immigration that we want. We want people to come here, and I mean, I know it's a pain, I know it's a hassle, but it's a good thing that you're going through all the hoops, and that really sets you apart from, let's say, less wanted immigration. I know that you are not, let's say, agreeing with all this government crap, let's say, bullshit, but the fact that you respect the place and you respect the costumes, it's huge for us. So we are, this is the kind of people that we want to do well here. So please follow, subscribe.
I know that you came here to Argentina because Argentina is changing, but the change will be fastest if more people like you came to Argentina.
I absolutely believe that, yeah.
I have a little thing to ask you. I know that you're building an Argentinian audience, but that won't be the smartest thing to do because, well, two things. First of all, if you have English-speaking people watching our channel, you will make more money. But second, I need someone to tell the story to people that speak in English, and it needs to be one of them. So I know that it sounds weird, but I need you to be that person.
I totally hear what you're saying, and I would be happy to be that person, and that's what I want to do, especially after seeing how much the people want it. People are calling me the ambassador of Argentina. I would be very, very happy to promote Argentina and promote immigration. And so right now I'm just trying to kind of blow up my Twitter, kind of blow up YouTube as much as I can to just get that algorithm going, and then I can start reaching a lot of people in the US from there. But I'm still in the very early stages of that.
Are you familiar with one Twitter account called Bowtied Mara?
Yeah, good guy. He's been retweeting my stuff, and sounds like he's a Dutchman that's been here for quite a while. Correct.
So this guy is doing what Tipito is basically saying, and I think we need a lot more of those, right? And we need to be welcoming to this kind of people. And that's
something like, for example, instead of economic.
If you ask me, I don't divide people between good and evil. I don't think this will be a bit controversial, but hear me out. I don't feel like there's good or evil people, right? So we are all good or evil to someone, okay? Right. What I think is there's a huge divide between, let's say, short-term planning people and long-term planning people. Mm-hmm. Like, if you are doing socialism, you are looking at the picture. You're not looking at the movie. I mean, it doesn't end well. I mean, you know that. I know that, right? You're not thinking long term, and that's evil. I'm a bit fed up of short-term thinkers. I mean, trust is long term, and it has value long term. And if you steal from someone, you are losing trust. But because it's a long-term value, it has no value to you, and that's why you do it. And those are the people I don't want.
No, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, and I think that it. And when I talk about the church and how we're losing the church, the church has that long-term vision, and that's why it lasted so good for so long. Is they passed that moral compass down to their people, and it was a great thing.
Yeah, and because not stealing from each other and not killing each other are good values, right?
Correct.
Unlike, let's say, steal from each other.
Well, and that's why, I think that's why my story resonates with people. Is the very first thing that I say in that video is 100 years. I think in hundreds of years. I don't, people are really worried that I might not enjoy myself here. My Argentine followers, they keep emphasizing, just be patient with us. They want me to be happy, and I am happy, but I'm here to struggle too. I'm not, this is for my kids. And so when I'm making my posts on Twitter, and it's pro-Malay and it's all this stuff, I believe what I'm saying, but I'm trying to fight for my children. So I'm here to struggle with everybody.
Okay, that's huge that you think that the future for the children will be here and it will be better than in the United States. That is huge.
Absolutely.
I had something else to ask you. I love please don't kill me. I know you are married to the name Economic Front, but I Escaped from America is beautiful.
No, it is good. I've been trying to think of what my name should be. I'm planning on having some type of business to help Westerners come to Argentina and kind of set them up. And so I'm trying to think of a name for that.
Yeah. So first-hand experience, huge for that. How old are the kids?
Yeah. So I've got he's almost 3. He'll be 3 in about a month and a half. And then I've got a little guy that's going to be coming up on 2. And then we have our next baby in maybe a week or 2.
And who convinced the other one? I mean, was it your wife that told you about going to Argentina, or was it you that told her?
Yeah, I think my wife and I, we would talk about everything happening in the world, and she's the person that I'd always talk to. I think I probably brought it up to her because I do a lot of geography type studying, countries and cultures and people, and Argentina stood out to me, and so I at some point I probably brought that up to her. And
was she on board from the beginning, from the get-go, or?
Yeah, surprisingly, yeah. I mean, I've been very lucky with my wife that she trusts me and she trusts my decision making, and again, she came to the end of the world with me. So I've been very, very lucky. But yeah, she is 100% on the same page as me.
The beginning of the world.
Like,
yeah,
you came to the beginning of the world.
yeah.
Try to be like 100% honest here. I'm not saying that you're lying, but is she happy here? Does she like it?
Yeah, she likes it. She's really excited for other Americans to come down with us because she wants to be social and she wants to have friends and people to hang out with. So I currently have 3 families coming to join us down here already.
Wow.
Yeah. So 2 of them I convinced before I got all the YouTube
this
stuff.
This is contagious. I love it.
Yeah, no. And another thing I want people to know, we're here to breed like rabbits because we've got this one family has 4 kids, the other family has 3 kids, and the other family has 4 kids.
As long as you're not running some kind of Ponzi scheme or something,
you're welcome.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. So that's what another thing I was going to ask you. How's the conversation with other Americans there? Have you been let's say, questioned a lot? Do many people think you're crazy on doing this, or is anyone if most people is like, okay, yeah, I get your point. Yeah, sure, go.
Yeah. So back in the U.S., I think almost everybody said I was crazy. Okay. But when you start telling them why, that's when they're like, wow, okay, I'm actually jealous of what you're doing. So I just had to explain why. Americans are very, I don't want to put everybody in one bag, but in general, these people are just materialistic and they just don't care about anything. And I don't think they've struggled very much, but they are struggling now, and that's going to continue. And that is one reason that I think immigration is coming to Argentina. The Americans are currently struggling. They're feeling something that the Argentines have felt for a long time. So I want to make that clear.
I think that. Sorry, you said you were from Idaho, right?
Idaho, yep.
Idaho, yeah. Is that let's say on Californian levels, or
No. Idaho is a great state. No, Idaho is a fantastic state. And if anyone did want to live in the U.S., I suggest Idaho. It's conservative values, it's family values, it's it has these things. But again, you have the socialism encroaching, so you can get to the smallest little community, and you have these values in the public school system. Obviously, and again, people are not that thoughtful, and so they let it come in. They let it encroach into the communities. They don't know how to stop it.
I think that when people are young and as you might say that they just prioritize buying stuff. I think that when they hear socialist ideas, they believe that it's okay because it is okay not to have a family, it is okay not to have a partner, it is okay to all those things that socialists say. But when they get older, they start to feel the loneliness of not having a family or not having a partner in their life. Do you think that is what is happening right now in the United States, or is a little bit more complicated?
Yeah, no, I think
you say that people were like sad in there.
Yeah, you're right. The problem is that a lot of them aren't even realizing it into their older age, surprisingly. They're just so demoralized that they want to save the planet from global warming that they just can't even get themselves to believe that they should have kids. And so I'm just not seeing it change into older age with these people so far. But
So what do you think of that? Let's say global warming, all this fight against global warming. Do you see it as an issue?
So I believe in keeping the environment, clean and good and not make animals extinct and all this stuff. And
but going out of your way to
here's the thing. They want to do carbon taxing. Okay. And so this is a control mechanism by the socialists to tax more people and to suck the energy out of the population. So they don't want to save the world. These people are crazy.
I find it funny. Please let me know if I'm a bit off the mark here, but as far as I understand, Obama bought a house near the beach now, which is like really, really expensive one. So how does that basically articulate with the rising sea levels and all that? Like, if you're really afraid of like the sea levels going up and whatever, you're not going to buy a house near the shore.
No. In fact, I think the property he bought was supposed to be underwater by 2010. So yeah, it's not even. They don't believe what they say.
So of course, did you see the news today? Biden is no longer a candidate. And
I've been so busy, I didn't see that. That's awesome.
No,
is it though?
You're hearing first here. Okay, Biden is no longer a candidate. Yeah. And he's supporting Kamala Harris. So, yeah. So you are more happy to be here in Argentina, right?
100%. This is the truth. Is this the truth?
Yes, it is true.
See, this is what's so crazy about the U.S. You don't know what's real anymore. I thought you were joking. This is real.
Joe Biden told us in a letter that he wrote and in his Twitter account, his official Twitter account, and the tweet that was before that, it was like, "I'm going to beat Trump," and the tweet next to that is, "I'm no longer a candidate."
Crazy.
So, and he's supporting Kamala Harris, but the Democrats will have their Congress in August, I think, and choose the candidate. But it might be between Kamala Harris and Michelle Obama.
Wow. Yeah, no, I think, I would be, the first thought that comes to my mind is Trump is winning now, but, and he already was going to, but I would say Michelle Obama would be a much better pick for the Democrats. I hope they don't take my advice, but I think that would be a much better pick.
No, let's play a bit of futurology here. How would it be like if Kamala Harris wins? Do you think it would make a difference?
She will be the first trans woman in power. I'm sorry. I know it's a joke in internet.
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama it's a joke in internet. I know. Don't.
No. Let's go with this. Let's assume Kamala Harris wins. Do you think that's going to make any difference to what we have now? What you have now?
Yeah. No. I think that. What I think would happen, if Trump won, things would slow down, but it's still going the same direction. But yeah, with what we have now, I think it's more the same. She wouldn't be controlling the country. She wouldn't be running the country. The people behind her would be controlling it. She would just be another puppet. That's exactly what would be happening. So we would be on the same trajectory. But yeah, if anyone actually thinks that Biden has been doing anything is crazy. He absolutely hasn't been doing anything. And Kamala would just be another puppet. Just literally controlled.
Nice. And this will be like going back in the interview, but did you see more families here than in the United States?
Oh yeah, like you're talking about like on the ground, like more children and families. Is that what your question is culturally?
Yeah. There are more families here than in the United States.
Yeah, more families. I'm seeing more, like when I'm walking on the streets, I'm seeing more children, more families, more, just more people healthier looking people, just people that look alive. Yeah.
How is that?
Yeah, so in the U.S., I mean, my wife and I joke about it all the time because if we do see somebody that looks like an American, we're like, well, there's one that looks like he should be in America. But it's very far and few between because the Americans are just, I mean, a lot of them are very obese and they just kind of have, a lot of them just have this just zombie look to them, like they're just very thoughtless looking people. But maybe I'm just too judgy. I don't know.
No, like the Wall-E movie, maybe.
Yeah. No. That's exactly. Yeah, that's how I see it. Yeah.
So, because I was very surprised. I know that I asked this before, but that you saying it is a family country, I was really surprised about that because I don't think that is I don't think that that's the case, but of course, I'm Argentinian, so I'm comparing Argentina today with Argentina 10 years ago.
Right. Now, so Argentina has been going, it has been going down these leftist ideas of abortion and all these terrible things that I'm sure the three of us don't want to see. Now, the problem is that the USA is way further down the path at this point, way beyond. And so that's why I'm here to fight. This is why I'm here to fight for Malay. This is why I'm here to fight for the Argentines. It's not that I ran away from the U.S. and I didn't want to fight for the U.S.
No, of course.
Yeah, the Argentina is where the fight needs to happen. It's the last hope. It is.
History comes and goes in all his values. So they go to the left and they right, left, right. So do you really think that the going back to conservative values will happen in Argentina and then the rest of the world?
Yeah, I think that I'm really, really positive and hopeful on the libertarian movement that I see in the young people. It's that libertarian movement that I see. And I know that if that continues, those libertarian values, that's what's going to build a nation. That's what's going to build something great. That's what I'm banking on. I hope that conservative values come with that. Because libertarians can be very middle. It's hard to know what you'll get.
I mean, being conservative, by definition, means thinking long term, right?
No, 100%. And I hope that that's what Argentina sticks with. But yeah, I think that should come with the libertarian movement. And I am seeing that with the young people having children. Even with the new immigrants coming here with the Russians and stuff, they're having their babies and they look like nice people with, family people. So I think it's a good thing.
I'm taking a long shot here, but you haven't been paying attention to what's happening politically speaking in the UK, for example, right?
No, I do. I'm not versed on all the history of all the countries, but I have a very good understanding of the people in almost every country around the world. And Europe is another very specific place that I pay attention to, and the UK specifically, because I think they're in a very similar boat to the US. In fact, Europe might be even worse. It's hard to say.
Yeah, no, I was going for example, there's the Conservative Party there. In my opinion, since Brexit, they haven't been very conservative, to be honest.
No, okay, yeah. So that's a great point you bring up. I want people to be very clear. Get your head out of these political cycles. Look at the trend and the direction that these countries are going in, and you'll notice over many, many decades and years that trend continues. Forget these political cycles. Support people like Malay, because he's pushing, this country in a different direction. But you really have to look at the trend. And that's the difference I'm seeing in Argentina, is that trend is going in the right direction compared to Europe, where they say they're a conservative party. They're absolutely not. They're the same crap that you had last time.
And do you have any opinions about all these people with the Palestinian flags?
Yeah, so
Does that happen a lot in the US as well?
What's that?
Does that happen a lot in the US as well?
No, it's happening a lot in the U.S. currently. Yeah, it's almost like the Antifa riots again. It's getting to that level where, not quite to that level, but it's the same people. It's the same exact people that were doing it in 2020, and they just want to rile things up. They want to destroy society and buildings, and it's kind of funny. I can sometimes agree with some of these people, but not why they're doing it. Because I'm not pro-government, and so I think that. I can relate to them, but they're doing it for a whole different reason than what I would be thinking.
What would you think that there's their motivation? If you say it's the same people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they are fighting for all these causes, let's say, that are foreign for them, but why? Why
let me put it this way: these people, they want to destroy the fabric of the U.S. They want to destroy the society. That's what they truly believe this. And when I say I can agree with them, I'm not pro killing Palestinians, so I can agree with their statement and their movement, but I can't agree with the motivation behind their movement, and it's to destroy the fabric of the nation. And that's what I don't agree with.
There's so many people with the Palestinian flags as well in Europe. And for example, here in Argentina, if you go to the Congress and you see there's the left, they have, the far left in Argentina, the Bregman guys, they all have the little Palestinian flags in the Congress as well. It's usually the same people that are across the world, right? It's not just in the US.
No, you're 100% right. These are the same globalist tyrants that want to control the world. And I'm sure you guys have heard Klaus Schwab saying that, cabinet members in Argentina have been infiltrated and, all this stuff during 2020. These globalists are infiltrating every country in the world. And so I really, really appreciate Milei trying to keep this globalism out. And that's some of my concerns with NATO. I hope it's good intentions.
You told us that when you came to Argentina, you were surprised about the amount of libertarian people that you found here.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, they are really young. Most of them, they are really young. Is the same thing in North America? Are libertarian people? I know they're not a lot, but the age of the libertarian people over there.
No, libertarians are typically old people. So you have you have boomers and you'd have Gen X. I would say probably the majority of libertarians in the US. I would say that I would be, there, and I think that comes with age. You start to, especially if you start researching and understanding the world, you usually lean libertarian because that's the most sense. But there is really no libertarian young movement in the U.S. There's a good conservative young movement in the U.S. where, because you have such a complete divide of liberals and conservatives, that's the majority of the young people.
Sorry, is that really a movement, or is it just a pushback against the
resistance?
Yeah, it's a resistance, and again, it's when you believe in the two-party state, you're demoralized.
Yeah.
You can't just think that these political cycles are going to change the world.
Do you feel that guns has something to do with ideology?
Oh, guns?
Yeah.
Yeah. So coming from North Idaho, I'm surrounded by people that that are pro-gun and believe in guns, and I feel the same exact way, but I think I'm a little bit more realistic in, what that end result would be. I don't think that you have a lot of people that saying, you'll take it from my cold, dead hands. I just don't believe that's reality for most of these people that say that.
Because you were a cop over there. So can you, or do you think that there is a connection between having guns and crime? Owning guns and crime. Yeah,
so I'm totally pro guns. I'm pro rights of guns. I'm pro humans have the right to defend themselves, and so I think that guns are absolutely a good thing. I don't buy into the leftist ideology that guns are causing the mass murders. It's crazy people that are causing that, and so that would be my viewpoint. I think people need to have guns and defend themselves. It's a tool.
Yeah, it's a tool, but because I'm agreeing with you, I think that there's more sickness in people right now, or more sick people, mostly young people with existential problems that there weren't before, and because they have those tools, they can do what they do. But if they didn't have the tools, they will create a tool to do the exact same thing. So I don't think that guns and crime does relate.
No, I don't think so either. And you could make the argument that, if somebody gets their hands on an AR-15, that they can kill many, many more people. This is true. But you also have a population nowadays in the U.S. that they might own these guns, but most of these people aren't carrying their guns on them for defense. And it's kind of sad that we actually have to live in a society where we have to start thinking about these things because of that mental illness. It just wasn't a thing in the U.S. before.
In your video, you say that you are not going to work for government anymore because you feel like that's being a parasite, basically, right? Ironically, you work for the only, let's say, public service that the left basically hates.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I want to make this clear because a lot of people don't understand exactly what I'm saying here. So there's three branches of government that I do believe in, and that is law enforcement, courts, and a military. And I just don't agree on how these three branches are currently operating in the U.S. I believe they should exist. I don't agree with how they're operating. So that's the clarification.
I don't agree with the fact that everyone working for the government is a parasite. I think that there's a lot of people that give a bad reputation to other people that are actually doing their jobs. Mm-hmm. It's getting increasingly more difficult to differentiate one from the other, to tell them apart. And I do think that when there's let's say a critical mass of people basically parasiting the system, they tend to exert some kind of peer pressure on the ones that are actually working. And at that point, nobody works because if you do, you get ejected from the system. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's happening in the US as well?
Yeah. So I think the U.S. is going down that path of centralization, and like I said, we can have all these fancy words for socialism and all the other things, but you break it down to centralization or decentralization, and centralization is occurring in the U.S. You see it in the healthcare system, you see it in their insurance companies, you see it in almost every category of what people call capitalism, which is not capitalism over there. It's centralization, and that's a very unhealthy society for the people themselves. It's you have monopolies, and they're not being identified as monopolies, and the people are getting screwed over. I mean, we're spending thousands of dollars just to go into an emergency room. Literally $800 to $1,000 to go into an emergency room, even if you have insurance. I still have to pay that if I have insurance, because my insurance only starts kicking in once I spend $8,000. And that's supposed to be a good plan in the U.S. And
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How does that works? You say that until you spend $8,000, mm-hmm. you are paying all your expenses are paid by the state.
So that's out of pocket. I pay the $8,000.
Let me see if I understand. So you have to pay for insurance, right?
Yep.
You start paying for health insurance.
Correct.
And until you get to $8,000, you got nothing, basically.
Basically, yeah, 100%.
And once you get to the threshold of $8,000, then it starts covering whatever they approve, basically.
Yes. And I want to bring something up here. That's for if you're a hardworking person. If you're not working and you're smoking weed and you're playing World of Warcraft all day, you get free healthcare in America.
What? Why? How?
Yeah. Obamacare. The welfare
can you say it again?
So if you're not working in the U.S.,
yes,
you have free healthcare. With Obamacare or whatever welfare, all the welfare stuff.
So for what I understand, you are better off not working than working, right?
That is exactly what's happening in the U.S. Yes, you are better off smoking weed and playing video games.
Okay. I totally understand why those people would vote for the left. Then
Yep. It's definitely a part of it, and that is one thing. I don't know what it is here, but the young generation is absolutely obsessed with drugs and video games in the U.S.
I wanted to ask you that, but first of all, I want to try to make a comparison. I know that's not a word, I think.
No, you're okay. Yeah, comparison.
I want you to compare the public health system over there with this public health system over here in Argentina.
Pretty darn close.
Really?
What I would say is how it functions. So it's a motivation for people that aren't producing for the society.
Okay. I understand, but mm-hmm. the quality of
the... Give me 1 second. I'm going to drop off for a second.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So I think the quality is for the public healthcare system. From what I'm being told by the Argentines in the comments and stuff, I haven't been to a public hospital here.
Okay.
But just going off of what they're telling me, it sounds like the system in the U.S. is better.
I think so. And you told us about drugs, and because you're a libertarian, I'm a libertarian too. But I'm not so happy about the idea of free drugs and deregulates the drug system, the consumer drugs. What do you think about it?
Yeah, so the libertarian in me doesn't think it should be illegal. The conservative, family, religious guy, that I don't personally want to see as well. But I don't want to impose myself on another human being. So I don't want to make a law to say that they can't do it. Now,
No.
Yeah.
But in a society that everyone is sad, everyone is lonely, everyone is stressed, and you will give them drugs? I think that it is a bad formula. I don't see it.
No, I agree. No, I agree with you. It's not good for society, and I think that in a free market you would have much less of it. What's happening is you're enabling the people to be able to buy the drugs. So let me give you an example.
Okay.
The poor people that live in the area that I live in the U.S., they have these things called EBT cards, and so it's a food card, and they will trade credit on these food cards to buy their drugs. So they use food, and they'll go into the grocery store, they'll buy the groceries, and they'll give it to their drug dealer, and the drug dealer will give them drugs for food. And so but here's the thing, the government gave them that food card.
Yeah.
So without government enabling on a welfare state, I don't think you have a huge drug problem. That's just my personal opinion.
Do you want to hear something more fun in Argentina? We have, I think it's no longer, but we had a public policy that gave cash money to drug addicts.
Yeah, no, that's an.
I don't know why, but that exists.
No. So in the U.S. and Oregon and Portland, which is a total crap hole, you have the government literally giving people drugs and needles.
Yeah, I heard that the safe haven was Alaska for that, right?
Yeah. They literally are giving them drugs. Like they have the drugs and they're giving it to them.
I hadn't understood that they were sending all the crackheads to Alaska, and that's they had like some kind of reservoir there, so was the way of removing them from other places.
Yeah, no. If you, what's amazing, if you look at the map and you look at Alaska, you would think, man, what a great place to have your family out in the middle of nowhere, away from everything. But there are so many drug addicts in Alaska, that's for sure.
And how quickly did you discard Canada, for example?
Are you asking what's my opinion of Canada?
Yeah, no. I mean, when you were thinking about moving away from the U.S., how quickly did you discard Canada for that?
First country to discard. That is, they are, which is sad. It's sad. I like the Canadian people. I like the people there. They're very friendly, and I think most people would agree that they're friendly. But their government is absolute garbage. They're more socialist than the U.S. By quite a long shot, and that says a lot. And yeah, I just look at what happened in 2020. Look what the government was doing to the people. It's awful.
Yeah, I just like Jordan Peterson from Ghana. The rest of them, I don't know them.
Right.
Do you think he will run for something in Canada? I mean, Jordan Peterson. Do you know
Jordan Peterson?
Oh, is he the? I must not. Is he the counterparty to Trudeau? Is that
no? That's basically Jordan Peterson is a clinical psychologist that got really popular because he's against all these gender policies and it seems that
Jordan Peterson. You're saying Jordan Peterson? Okay. Yes, I've been watching Jordan Peterson for many years. Yeah. If he, I don't know if they would ever let him run. They would probably do something to him. But that guy, that's a sharp cookie right there.
He was trying to have a chat with Milei.
Oh, he was trying to have a chat with Milei?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying Jordan Peterson was? Oh yeah, no, I think they should talk if they haven't. I think Jordan has fantastic ideas. He's a really thoughtful guy.
Okay. So do you have any concerns about Argentina? Because you saw a lot of things, but you told us all positive things. What are the negative things that you found out?
Yeah, I would say from what people are telling me, again, I don't have much experiences so far, but from what people are telling me would be the crime. I really don't like the petty theft that people are telling me are happening. I've met multiple people that have had their phones stolen. Maybe the government should have a stronger hammer for something like that, deter them from doing that, because it is creating victims, and I do believe in punishments for crimes that have victims.
Okay, and anything else that you didn't like? But you didn't travel a lot.
Yeah, I don't think I've traveled enough. I'm just going off of a lot of good advice that people are giving me online.
Have you got acquainted with the area of Retiro? Let's say, did you happen to go? No, well, I mean, you're expecting your kid, right? So you didn't do a lot of travel, but once you start moving around the country, you will have a lot of negatives to see, I think.
Yeah, I've done a lot of research, and I've watched many videos of people going around the country, and not just of these special locations that Argentina has, but actual road trips and just the whole journey and stuff. And it's hard to tell what people show, but there was a guy that I watched. His name's George Gammon, and he came through the area from Chile, Santiago, and he went through Mendoza, Cordoba, and he came to Rosario to Buenos Aires, and he ended there, and then he flew out. But his perspective on Argentina was that it's just like the U.S. when you're driving through it until you get to Rosario, and then he did say that Cordoba was culturally pretty different from the U.S. But everything outside the cities reminds him of the U.S. The countryside, the farmland. He said it feels like you're somewhere in Kansas.
In Kansas, all right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
until you hit a. ¿Cómo se diría? Pozo en la ruta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until your car breaks down, and then you remember that you're in Argentina.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is there anything you miss from the US? I mean, there may be a ton of things, right? But something stands out?
Yeah, for us, it's just, first world problems like where's the cheddar cheese? We cooked with cheddar cheese all the time. So we have maybe in Buenos Aires, maybe this is just an issue, but I mean, cheddar cheese, I know people are saying it's fake cheese, and I respect that, but I still love eating eating it.
What's cheddar cheese for you? Is it the white one or the orange one?
No, the orange one, the big bag of shredded orange cheese.
You understand that cheddar cheese comes from England, actually, right? And it's white, actually, right?
Yeah. No, I do know that. Yeah, no, the Americans, turned it yellow. It's just something I had my entire life.
But you're eating the same things, healthier. How is the food here?
Oh yeah, food's way different. So so we're eating way more healthy here. Like if I try to get food around here, I feel like it's just made with real ingredients, real stuff, and I just feel much healthier here. In the U.S., it's so easy to just, if you're starving and let's say you've been working all day, to go stop at the burger joint and pick up a literally just this garbage processed hamburger, or anything else. And you go to the grocery store and it's just full of processed stuff. It's actually a job to go to the grocery store in the U.S. and just read the ingredients to make sure you're not eating seed oils.
Seed oils?
Yeah, seed oils. Don't eat seed oils. Highly processed food.
What is that?
It's a they're using it in all foods as the oil component of a lot of processed foods.
Grasas trans deben ser.
So you see like rapeseed or?
Oh yeah, yep, that's exactly right. Yeah. Stay away from that stuff. But it's in everything. And so when you shop in the US, you have to be very careful.
In the UK, it wasn't that bad. There was a law that protected a customer protection law that was European, that forced supermarkets and whatever to have like real food. But once they did Brexit, they started to lean more on the American side, and it got a lot worse. So that was something that was done against the people in the name of freedom, let's say.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah,
I mean,
in Europe.
the grocery shopping in Argentina so far is kind of frustrating compared to the US. Just, it seems to be harder to find stuff. But again, I can't read Spanish very well yet. And so this just might be an American problem.
Did you have any money issues regarding bringing the money to Argentina?
No. So bringing the money was easy. You're limited on how much you can bring, so people can research that. But the maximum that you can bring, flying is $10,000, and then from there you can, exchange that money at these exchange places. The Russians made a really good map on all the different locations.
Of course.
And so super easy. I just get on that map and I find a location, and I just get pesos for dollars. We don't get scammed by the Western Union. We don't get screwed over by anyone. We get a good rate.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So when I was living in the UK, I used to do like a lot of visits to Argentina. Like I was trying to get on a schedule of coming here to visit at least twice a year. And in one of the first visits I did, it was 2014. It was the peak of basically Kirchnerist government, if you are like familiar with that period. Next in the line, so I was doing immigrations here in Argentina, and in front of me in the line, there was a Danish couple, right? And they were looking for a bank to change their money. And I told them, like, look, you're going to get scammed in the bank, all right? So there's this official exchange rate, and there's the blue exchange rate.
Yeah.
So go to someone you know and exchange there. And they were looking at me as if I was trying to scam them. They was like really what I saying. I was like, listen me out. Like I mean, seriously here. It's like 3 times the difference, right? The gap is so big. And they were like, yeah, sure. And like as if I was meddling. It's
really hard to explain to someone that isn't from Argentina that the bad guys are actually the banks, and the good guys are on the streets giving you money. This is really strange. It's really hard to explain.
No, that's a great point. It's completely opposite of what you would experience in the U.S. or in Europe, I'm sure. And but yeah, I think that people do. It's not hard once you get here. It's not hard to exchange your money. It's very, very easy. Don't stress out about it. But it's do your research. Make sure that you understand that you want to get the good rate. It makes a big difference.
When you go to a more civilized country, whatever that means, it's usually
it's not a bad way to put it.
Follow the rules and you're okay with that. Okay, follow the rules and you're not going to get in trouble. If you go to Argentina, it's more like, find someone you trust and listen to that person and do whatever they say.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like for me, something that's appealing, and maybe it's going to be appealing to other libertarians, is that Argentina is a little dysfunctional, and it's kind of like the Wild West in that way. And I love that. That's what I like. There's a problem with organized governments, and organized governments can follow you all around the world. They have these tentacles like the U.S. that will come. I get taxed here, even if I live here in Argentina. I'm getting taxed by the U.S. You can't escape them, but it's one of the only countries that will do that to you.
Have you heard of Boris Johnson?
Boris Johnson, yeah.
Yes. So that guy, do you know that he used to have American citizenship?
Oh, did he? I'm sure he renounced it. Did he renounce it?
Of course. So he renounced it after selling a house.
Right.
And the U.S. government, Uncle Sam came and said,
Yep. He probably got pissed off. Like, I'm not even there. Why would I? Why? Yeah. So that's my point.
Prime Minister of the UK.
Hilarious. So I think that I think there's a lot of value. I can't speak personally about this because there's consequences for saying things like this. But I think there's a lot of value renouncing your U.S. citizenship tax-wise, because they follow you around the world.
But you can have the two the tax. You need to have one.
No. There's one thing particularly. So I was going to get my UK citizenship. I lived there for 11 years, and I was perfectly entitled to UK citizenship. But I heard that there were plans to do the same thing that you have, right? So I said like, whoa.
No,
I'm okay with the permanent residence. If I set foot on the UK once every 5 years, I can keep my permanent residency, my indefinite leave to remain. So what if I'm going to just do that? Okay, I don't want the citizenship. They are planning to do the same thing, and of course now that there's labor in power, they are going to do that. I mean, straight away. So there's a lot of expats living around the world. Like, anyways. So what I was trying to tell you, Tipito, is that these guys, they have to pay taxes no matter where they live. I mean, they have to pay taxes to the U.S. government no matter they have to file a report on their incomes and on their basically what do you call it?
Well, and let me make this clear. I mean, and if a country doesn't have a tax agreement with the U.S., you get taxed by that country and the U.S. itself. So you get taxed double. It's a terrible thing. I want human beings to be able to travel freely and to have freedom. That's what I want people to have. And the spirit of Argentina totally matches up with that. I mean, the people. I mean, here's the thing. I've been so welcomed here. And when people heard my story, even socialists on YouTube are welcoming me. And it's I love that because to the people, it doesn't matter what political side they're on. They're just so welcoming to immigration. But if I was in the USA and doing this, having an anchor baby in the USA, everybody would be wanting me to get kicked out or deported out of the country. I mean, politically, they would just hate me.
But that's because everyone would assume that you are just trying to abuse the system.
Absolutely. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're a European or a Mexican or anything. They wouldn't want you. Yeah, U.S. is not a welcoming country. It's not a welcoming country.
This is going to be a little bit hard to explain, but you have two sides here. The socialist side just hate people of third world countries because they are rich, because they are colonialists, or all that shit. It is not true, but they hate them.
Right.
And the other part wasn't happy about being Argentinians. But with the desire to be happy. So when Milei won, something that I noticed that I didn't notice before was the right being proud of being Argentina. So you represent something that we didn't have. Is people wanted to come here, and this what you are doing right now, it makes us want to love our country. Right. So I'm seeing people proud to be Argentina, and that wasn't true 5 years ago.
Right. Yeah. No. So it's great to hear your side of that, because what I'm experiencing firsthand is that I represent something for the Argentines. It's not me. It's what I represent, and that's what's so amazing by this.
Usually people here in Argentina, from the mouth outwards, they say that, they say that if we were the best country in the world and we're the greatest and whatever, deep inside, everyone thinks that we are not very good. All right. And it's usually like when you go out of the country, when you go visit on some other places, everyone here is like really intrigued on what they say of us. Because they want to hear that they like us there, but deep inside we know that, we really care what other people think of us, right? And we are not really very sure about ourselves. And it's as if we were ashamed of being Argentinians. And that has been the collective feeling for a long time. And it is since not long ago that this is basically going away, right? And
that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a pride. I'm seeing on my YouTube, when I tell people how much I enjoy something, they are just absolutely just fanatically happy that I'm enjoying myself and that I love it, and they love hearing that I love it. And another really interesting thing is I have a lot of Argentines following me from Europe and Canada and the US, and they're watching my YouTube videos because they want to see their home. That's just how they're finding me. And so they want to see their home, and they love seeing some, American guy coming down and living down here and wanting to have an anchor baby to live here. And they want to come back. They're telling me every single day that they're coming back. They're planning on coming back.
You're Argentinians before Milei. the only thing that they thought is how to escape Argentina,
Right.
how to
Right.
escape to another country. So when they see you, they see a person that might be living in the country that they want to escape, coming here, and other Argentinians, other Argentinians that they are in abroad, see how you see the country, so they want to go back. You represent more than you think. That's why I was asking you to maybe change the name of the channel to I Escaped from America, because I'm not sure if you know what you represent. I'm sorry about my English to all the people.
No. You nailed it. This is exactly what I'm experiencing. This is exactly what I've been feeling for the past week, and I've been understanding that that's what I represent. And I think that one thing I want to make clear to the Argentines is that I understand, them for the past decade wanting to get out of Argentina to improve their economic situation. I would have done the exact same thing, but I need to make it very clear. The US and Europe and Canada are becoming unlivable. It's so expensive to live. I'm telling you, people my age and younger have 3 roommates, and they're working 2 jobs, and they still can't barely make their rent. And then they're just in debt because you can't live there without credit and just going in debt into oblivion. It's so expensive. And then the trend that the US is headed in, I think it's a very bad move. It's a very bad move.
So in 2012, when I moved to the UK, I had this feeling of basically, just for you to understand, the scenario was that Christina Kirchner has won her second term, and they were basically starting with this official blue dollar shit. And there was a lot of people that was starting to take advantage of that against me, basically. And economically, I felt like I was being kicked out of the country. I'm not saying that it's the same feeling, economically speaking, but can you relate, or is it a bit too much for you, what I'm saying?
So I just need to understand better. So when you came to Argentina to come back?
No. I'm originally from Argentina, right?
Right.
In 2012, I left Argentina to go to live in the UK, right? Because Christina has moved here, right? And it was being, as you say, unlivable, right? For me, it was unlivable. I couldn't get a job, and everything I had here, I hated basically, like, all the opportunities I could get, they were like not worth it. So I said, fuck it, I'm going somewhere else. And I went to the UK. Right. And I felt like, it's not like I want to live in the UK. It's more like I am being kicked out of my country. Do you have the same feeling?
That's exactly right. That is exactly the same feeling that the Americans are feeling right now. I'm not just speaking for myself. These Americans are miserable right now. And what's so interesting is that the Argentines have been feeling this way for decades, and the Americans are finally feeling the pain, and they're going to escape. I'm telling you guys, they're coming.
Right.
That doesn't mean that I feel less of an Argentinian, and I understand that you are not feeling less of an American, but there's a huge part of the country that's basically against you, and they are just there. They're your homemates, let's say, right? But they hate your guts, right? Mm-hmm. That's why I felt here, and I'm pretty sure you would agree.
Yeah, so you're talking about like Americans would be upset with me or hating me? Is that?
No, not for leaving. I mean, if you were in the city, those basically the liberals, right? They're hard to.
Right.
They're not great roommates, let's say.
No. Yeah. So there is such a cultural divide, like we mentioned before, that it is. So not only do you have a horrible economic situation in the U.S. right now to survive, you have a cultural divide as well. And so you just have so much toxic stuff happening in the U.S. And then you look at the direction of I don't know what we can say here, but the direction everything's going, it's just not.
You can say whatever you want.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm just the demoralization of society. The wife having to work, LGBTQ stuff, just the whole thing is just not a good outlook for the future.
Do you think feminism is pretty much tied to the decline, or are two separate things?
Yeah. So, I mean, let's make this clear. Feminism the feminism movement is not actual real feminism. Okay, so if
No,
that
no,
were
no.
the case,
I think it's understood today.
Oh yeah.
Today is feminism I'm speaking about.
Oh, in the U.S., do I think what's happening is feminism in the U.S.?
No. What my question is like, do you think that what we understand today for feminism is tied to the decline or not? Or it's two different things?
Oh, yeah. So I think that it's what we understand as feminism today is towards the decline. I think it's a movement that I don't believe it's real feminism. Real feminism represents many way different things than what's actually happening with feminism groups today.
Just to know, what do you think real feminism represents? This sounds a lot like a true Scotsman.
No. Real feminism is a mother not having to work and to be able to raise her children and be a mother, to be that structure in the household. I mean, why does a mother have to go to work? Why can't the man provide for the family? What's happening is absolutely horrible. It's not a good thing for the children to be raised up without their mother in the household. That's a terrible thing. So the whole movement in the 60s in the US for feminism was actually just to get these women working and being taxed in the system. This wasn't feminism. This was an operation to destroy the family.
Okay, I understand, because the feminist today is like, it's good to be a single woman, but it's bad to be a woman in a family and the men working and true feminist will be, it's good to be whatever you want.
Yeah, and another thing I want to make very clear: real feminism is actually changing now, because with the men dressing up as women and calling themselves women, the real feminists are finally realizing, well, we can't support a man. We can't support a man. Now you have some really demoralized feminists that are going along with it, but the true feminists are waking up, and they're realizing what's been happening.
What's that? Yeah. The rat femmes or some other thing?
That is the rat femmes, yeah. The radical feminists.
The radical feminists that are basically feminists that don't stand for the trans people.
There is a movement that they believe that they thought for woman rights, and people that is not woman is now living those rights or having those rights.
Yeah, the feminist movement is becoming separated at this point as well. Yeah.
Yeah, here in Argentina, we have a coincidence. It's not that we are conservatives or something like that. It's that the feminist movements and the socialists became so corrupt that they became one with political parties. Mm-hmm. So when people hated the political party, hated to the feminists and the socialist movement. It was a coincidence. It's not that Argentinians are conservatives or libertarian. It's just a coincidence that they became corrupt and so attached to a political party. It's a good coincidence, but it was a coincidence.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and I just think it just comes to that centralization in that type of structure.
Okay.
Sorry, a bit unrelated. How bad do you think, for example, the likes of TikTok? I mean, how big of an impact do you think TikTok had on this decline?
Firsthand experience in law enforcement, I've seen the decline, mental decline in the youth with social media. I've dealt with many suicidal youth members, and it's always been related to social media drama or being so addicted to social media that they believe that that's real life, meaning that they think that all their friends are always having fun when that's not reality, and so they feel depressed, and they're not mature. Their brains aren't mature enough to be able to understand that point of view. It's very unhealthy for the children. It's probably a good thing for older adults because we can kind of, it's connecting. I mean, look what we're doing right now. It's a good thing.
So I want to speak a little bit more about that you just said. You were a cop in the United States, and you got a lot of calls of people taking their own lives. Yes.
Correct.
And you say there was a correlation with social media.
Yeah, with the young people specifically. So
could you explain me a little bit more of that?
Sure, I'll give you guys some examples. So we've had like online relationships that would go south, and so it wouldn't work out for the girl, and so then the girl gets all depressed and because her online boyfriend.
It was most likely on the girl.
Yeah, I feel like yes, definitely. The girls were impacted much, much more than the boys were. I think that the girls are more emotional than men in general, naturally. I'm sure Jordan Peterson would back me up on this. But
Yes.
so social media has a much, much grimmer effect on females. Yeah.
Let's say you upload one video per day and you have 20K views in that videos, you will earn $800.
Mm-hmm.
And in the United States, you can buy a home with that views.
Right.
And don't try to be YouTuber in Argentina
So
because
what he's saying basically is that the audience here, having your audience from Argentina, pays a bit less than having an American audience.
3 times less.
Yeah.
Or
Quite
4
a bit
times.
less.
So you're saying like YouTube will pay me less because of where my
Yes.
audience is located? Oh yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's good.
So basically,
3 or 4 times less.
Wow, that's a lot.
you would do well in aiming to have American audience.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, that's really good advice.
There's a good chance that Argentines will watch you anyways.
Of course.
Right. No, exactly. Yeah, I believe that I'm still going to have them as viewers. In fact, that's what made everything blow up, and then that video was seen by somebody, and yeah.
Another thing is like it's a good thing, even if you are aiming to have any kind of audience, it's a good thing, and you're trying to basically build community with other YouTubers, and doing this kind of interaction is always something positive. So
I'll bring something that is kind of funny because it just happened today. But I was at the El Rural event in Buenos Aires, and you guys know that crazy. Oh, he's not crazy. The big Aussie dude that's been here for a while. He immigrated here.
We don't know them.
Okay. Sorry. The X community that's watching this knows him, and we actually ran into each other today. I guess he's a YouTuber and he's a personality on X as well. But we just ran into each other today at the El Rural.
It's not bad empanada, right?
No. Yeah, that guy.
No.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that guy's been commenting on stuff. His name's Jordan on X, but it's Geology G.
Oh yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, Go Trader. He's got 20,000 subscribers. Anyways, he was at the same event that I was at, and we just walked right past each other as I'm making a YouTube video. It's quite funny.
For us, you are the first believer. So, and please. Try to create a channel about that, because you will be like Russians were to you, you will be to other US American.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm trying to do with the YouTube. You can tell if you look at my X channel, it's more pro Malay and that audience, and then if you look at my YouTube, I'm trying to keep it so Americans will, because the Americans are going to follow me on YouTube. So that's where I'm trying to draw the Americans in to pull them in, because that is the mission. I don't need all the subscribers. I want to bring these Americans here.
Do your content in English and maybe put captions, but do your content in English.
Yeah, do your content in English. Yes,
totally sounds good, and I think that even all my Argentine subscribers would agree with this as well. I believe.
And if you happen to drop by Rosario at some point, we can organize a meeting or something.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Right.
Here's a good question. Did you notice any racist in Argentina? Racism?
No. So that's I haven't been seeing that at all. In fact, I can't even find somebody that's saying any racist things. I've seen one comment where somebody's upset about like the Bolivians going into the hospitals, and he thinks that's a negative thing. But I think he's talking about more about.
We had an issue with that, because if you go to Bolivia as an Argentinian and you try to access the public health, they want to charge you. But if Bolivians came here, we don't charge them.
Right.
And the same thing is happening with the university. So that results in a little bit of hate.
Right.
I don't know if to Bolivians, but to the idea that it's unfair.
Yeah, no, and that's the point I want to make clear. I don't think it's racism. I think the guy actually has a good point, and he shouldn't even be considered a racist for that. But I think that the leftist ideologies and the leftists around the world like to say this about Argentina. A lot of Americans say that Argentina is racist. They combined Argentina with Nazism, and I hear it all the time. And I don't agree with it. I don't see it, and I think it's just a left wing propaganda.
Why just not changing the state?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think Argentines have a really hard time understanding this. I was already in one of the best states in America, and that's in Idaho. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And here's the thing. This is the direction the entire country is going in. These individual states don't have their own rights. We have this blanket control by the federal government. And one more important thing, it's not just the federal government, it's the Federal Reserve Bank. And they are printing money out of their butts, and it screws over everybody in the whole country. So this is an economic problem that's happening, and there's no state you can go to get away from that.
So there's a lot of people in California moving to Texas. So
they're coming to Texas. They're coming to Idaho. In fact, during the pandemic, Idaho was the fastest growing state, more than Texas. And so, statistically speaking, and so I think that.
But they're basically bringing the virus with them, right?
I've met both sides. So I meet a lot of Californians where I'm from because they've come to the North Idaho mountains and they want the lakes and the mountains. So I've met really good people from California that are trying to escape socialism. So I can't complain about those people, but I have met other people that show up and they start painting rainbow flags on their businesses and they start pushing the California garbage.
It all starts in California, right?
What's that?
It's all, the infection, it all starts in California.
100%. From California, you got New York City, but you got all these things where, it's a disease and it spreads.
Yeah, there is a connection between big cities and far left. Because if the smaller the town, more right the people.
Yeah, I would say that's true. As long as you're not on the coast. So if you're like going down the coast and you're going to all these small towns like in Oregon and Washington, and they can be small and they are liberal as all can be. But if you're in interior small towns, you're going to be surrounded by conservative values. Stay away from the oceans.
Okay. Oh well. I think that I'm out of questions right now. So I wanted to thank you a lot for coming here.
Yeah, no, you guys are great guys. I appreciate getting the word out and really had fun here.
Nice.
So, well, and now we are going to speak with the audience, but in Spanish, and react to little videos, but it's all in Spanish. So,
right.
So I don't think that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great to meet you.
Enojados, coléricos, iracundos, frenéticos, berserker, rage god y cerdos capitalistas. Les agradezco desde lo más profundo de mi corazón por ayudarme a hacer todo esto posible. Muchísimas gracias.